There's no denying that when most people think of an electric car, they picture a Tesla. But brands like BMW aren't just going to sit back and let Elon Musk corner the market.
Enter the i4, one of 3 all-new EVs BMW is launching in 2022 alongside the iX3 and iX. But what makes the i4 different from the others is that this car is trying to replicate BMW's much-loved sports sedan formula, only with an all-electric powertrain. So, can this BMW i4 tempt you away from a petrol or diesel engine? Before we begin, we've actually split this video up into handy little chapters, so you can use the time codes found on your screen now to jump ahead to the section that interests you the most. And if you're watching this on YouTube, life gets a bit easier because you can use the chapter markers found down below to plot your own course. Now, if you don't think this car is right for you, we've reviewed the Tesla Model 3, the Kia EV6, and heaps of other electric vehicles, so don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and that bell notification icon to stay on top of all our latest content. With a name like i4, you could be mistaken in thinking that this is a sequel to the cute and quirky i3 hatchback that BMW launched back in 2014. But sorry Duology fans, it isn't. The i4 actually shares the same platform as the 3 Series and is essentially the all-electric version of the 4 Series Gran Coupe. But in 2022, sadly, we're still paying a price premium for an all-electric powertrain. So here's the full breakdown on the 2022 BMW i4.
The i4 kicks off at $99,900 before on-road costs for this eDrive 40 grade, $16,000 more expensive than the comparable 430i Gran Coupe. Standard equipment includes 19-inch wheels, LED headlights, keyless entry, push-button start, a 12.3-inch digital instrument cluster, head-up display, wireless smartphone charger, sports seats, 3-zone climate control, interior ambient lighting, and a powered tailgate. Handling multimedia duties is a humongous 14.9-inch touchscreen display, powered by BMW's latest iDrive 8 software, with features including satellite navigation, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto support, 10-speaker sound system, and digital radio. Stepping up to the M50 version adds laser headlights, a rear spoiler, sunroof, 16-speaker sound system, metallic paint, and heated front seats, but also moves the asking price to $124,900, or around $9,000 pricier than the M440i Gran Coupe. Of course, the i4 M50 also scores a dual-motor all-wheel drive setup and more potent performance, but I'll go into more detail about that a bit later on.
Is $100,000 a little bit too much to spend on an all-electric mid-size sedan? Well, the top-spec Polestar 2 and Tesla Model 3 actually are cheaper than this base i4, but then again, those two cars aren't wearing a BMW badge. If the i4 looks familiar, that's because it's based on the 4 Series Gran Coupe that launched in showrooms last year. That means a 4-door liftback body style, athletic proportions, and sizing close to the Polestar 2 and Tesla Model 3. Let's get this out of the way nice and early and talk about the elephant in the room, BMW's oversized front grille. Say what you want about it, but there's no denying it gives the i4 a unique and head-turning look. And in my opinion, it really doesn't look all that bad. In person, the grille actually looks a bit smaller, in part because of the front number plate that splits it up and makes it look a bit more like a traditional front grille. You'll also notice that the i4 has a bit of blue around the BMW badge. But of course, styling is subjective, so if you think the BMW i4 is a bit of an eyesore, well, drop a comment down below and let us know what you think. In profile, the 19-inch wheels fill out the arch as well, but don't do all that much to hide the massive red painted brake calipers. You'll also find this little aero element here that actually does feed air out of the wheel well. I particularly like the flush-fitting door handles, which look futuristic without being pretentious like the retractable ones you'll find on a Tesla or a Range Rover. Slim wraparound taillights, a boot lip spoiler, and a chunky bumper inform the i4's rear styling. But I'm not a huge fan of these exhaust cutouts. It makes sense on a model like the 4 Series Gran Coupe where you would actually have exhausts, but it looks just kind of odd on an all-electric model like the i4.
While the outside of the i4 might be all about that big grille, the inside is all about big screens. 2 of them in fact. The instrumentation and multimedia screens dominate the experience here, but BMW has also included physical buttons on the steering wheel and center stack, as well as this rotary control knob to make navigating menus that much easier. I really appreciate how much the connected screens differentiate the i4 from its 4 Series Gran Coupe relative, and really makes the cabin feel futuristic and befitting of the all-electric powertrain.
Overall, the i4's styling might not be to everyone's taste, but BMW certainly gets credit for making bold aesthetic choices. Personally, I wish BMW had gone a bit further to differentiate the i4 from its 4 Series Gran Coupe cousin, but there's no denying the head-turning appeal of this all-electric sedan. As a premium mid-size sedan, the BMW i4 offers plenty of space and storage for most, but keep in mind there are some limitations. From the driver's seat, the electronically adjustable pews offer plenty of flexibility to get you into the perfect driving position for long road trips. Storage options up here include an underarm storage cubby, there's a glove box, we've got 2 cup holders in here, as well as a door pocket that will take a bottle, but because of its design, it kind of rattles around a little bit in there. BMW really needs to be called out for its outright bad wireless smartphone charger designs. Look at this one, it's tucked all the way under this lid, and the way it's designed, my phone barely fits. Between this and the weird plastic cowl thing that you find in a Z4 and a 1 Series, BMW really do need to update their wireless smartphone charger designs. However, I will give BMW huge props for its iDrive 8 multimedia system, which is displayed on this humongous screen. The menus? They're quick and snappy, and the screen is so responsive, I swear I've used phones that are slower than this. Credit also has to be given to BMW for not making it all touch, because you've got a rotary control knob down here with physical buttons to help you navigate the menu. In the second row, things do start to get a little bit cramped. I can just about fit my 6-foot tall frame in here. There's enough shoulder and leg room, but headroom is a little bit tight. Storage options back here include door pockets, you've got back seat map pockets, as well as this fold down center armrest with 2 cup holders, and there's climate controls with 2 USB-C ports for charging your devices.
Opening the boot reveals a space that will accommodate 470 litres of volume, but fold the rear seats down and space swells to 1,290 litres. Loading large and bulky items is made much easier thanks to the lift-back design, and it's also important to note that buyers won't be penalised in practicality for going electric, as the i4 and 4 Series Gran Coupe share the same boot capacity. However, the charging cables can get in the way, as there really isn't any dedicated space for them to go. I will also mention that the charging point is in a really annoying spot, being in the rear where the petrol cap would be. It means that you always have to reverse into charging spots, and it can be tricky to maneuver the i4 into just the right position to get the charging cable to reach. I much prefer the front center charging port of the Nissan Leaf, or dual charging ports available on the left and right fenders in the Audi e-tron and Porsche Taycan. BMW's i4 has yet to be tested by ANCAP or Euro NCAP, and therefore doesn't wear an official crash test rating at the time of publication. The closely related 4 Series Gran Coupe also doesn't boast an official crash test rating, but the 4 Series Coupe that launched in 2019 sports a maximum 5-star rating. It is unclear how much the changes in body style and powertrain affect the safety of occupants, but the i4 comes with a long list of advanced safety features.
If it's one thing BMW knows, it's how to build sports sedans like no other, and that holds true even for its EVs. This i4 eDrive 40 is powered by a single electric motor that drives the rear wheels and produces 250 kilowatts and 430 newton meters. That's more than the BMW 330i and 430i Gran Coupe.
With drive sent to the rear wheels, the i4 eDrive 40 can accelerate from 0 to 100 km an hour in just 5.7 seconds, beating out the aforementioned 330i and 430i models. For those that want a bit more pep, the top spec M50 grade's dual motor setup punches out 400 kilowatts and 795 newton meters for a lightning quick 3.9 second 0 to 100 km an hour run. Compared with its petrol-powered 4 Series Gran Coupe counterpart, the i4 certainly puts up respectable figures, while also offering more than a performance match for the Polestar 2 and Tesla Model 3.
With an 84 kilowatt hour battery, this BMW i4 eDrive 40 has an official driving range pegged at 590 kilometers when tested on WLTP standards. However, at a full charge, when I picked this car up, it showed only about 390 kilometers. Keep in mind though that electric cars aren't as efficient in cold weather, and the mercury is showing about 3 degrees on this freezing Irish winter's day.
Luckily then, BMW has included DC fast charging capabilities in the i4 as standard, with its 210 kilowatt CCS plug able to take the battery from 10 to 80% in around half an hour. Using an 11 kilowatt AC charger, however, will require around 8.5 hours for a full charge. In my week with the car, I averaged an energy consumption rating of 23.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, almost matching the official figure of 22.2 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. My driving did include several long distance trips on the freeway, however, an environment in which an electric vehicle does not excel. Like all new BMWs sold in Australia, the i4 comes with a 3-year unlimited kilometre warranty, with roadside assist over that period. This falls short of the now standard 5-year assurance periods offered by premium rivals Mercedes-Benz, Audi, Lexus, Jaguar and Genesis. Scheduled servicing intervals for the i4 are every 20,000 kilometres or 24 months, whichever occurs first, at least in overseas materials. Australian intervals are yet to be confirmed, but BMW is offering service price plans covering 4 and 6 year periods in basic and plus forms. If you came to this review to find out whether or not BMW has succeeded in transplanting its sports sedan formula into an all-electric model like this i4, the short answer is yes. Okay, job done, review over, right? Well, to elaborate a little bit more, the best thing I can say about the i4 is that it feels, for the most part, aside from the lack of engine and exhaust noise and the way the power is delivered, like a 3 or a 4 Series. Steering is sharp and responsive, and throttle and brake inputs are immediate, making this i4 an absolute delight to drive enthusiastically. The Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tyres and massive brakes also help in this regard. And look, it might not be as dynamically composed as a Porsche Taycan, but it's certainly comparable to the excellent 3 Series. I will say, I don't love the fake sound that's piped into the cabin when in sport mode. It just sounds weirdly low rent to me. But switch things up into comfort mode, and the BMW i4 all of a sudden turns into a pretty relaxed drive. The steering, it gets a bit looser, kind of like myself on the weekends, and the adaptive dampers also soften up. And it turns this sports sedan into something that is really easily able to soak up bumps and road imperfections. Pair this with the nearly silent all-electric powertrain, and, well, let's just say the baby in the back seat has fallen asleep on more than one occasion. You can also change the level of regenerative braking, meaning for all intents and purposes, you can drive this car with just the throttle. It's kind of like the one-pedal driving experience found in the Nissan Leaf and Hyundai Ioniq 5, and while I get that's not for everyone, it's at least nice to have the option.
If you're worried about the electric car future, you can put your fears at ease because the BMW i4 is just as good as any other non-M sedan the brand puts out now. It more or less feels and functions like a 3 Series. It's got engaging driving dynamics, a plush interior, and a comfortable ride. But the cherry on top of the cake is, if you buy the i4, you'll never have to stop off at a servo again. Well, that is unless you want to pick up some snacks. For the full breakdown on how we got to this score, you can check out the full written review at carsguide.com.au. And if you don't think this EV is right for you, we've reviewed heaps of others for you to check out.